What's going on, everyone? My name is Aaron, and the brand new 2021 Amazon Fire HD 10 just arrived at my door a couple hours ago, and I've been playing around with it for a little bit now, so I wanted to open it up for you guys, show you what you get in the box, and just give you my initial impressions of the brand new Amazon Fire HD 10 of 2021. Now, for reference, I got the Amazon Fire HD 10 32GB black model. So this isn't the Fire HD 10 Plus, which has just a few extra benefits over the Fire HD 10. But for this model, we're looking at a little bit more RAM, a little bit more trimmed down overall design, and a few other subtle improvements over the previous generation. So let's open it up and see what you get in the box. So tearing this out of the Amazon box, you can see it's very similar unboxing to any of the other Fire HD tablets out there. The red cardboard box that you open at the top, and then you pull out the sleeve that has the tablet and all the accessories included. Pulling out the tablet, it's covered in a plastic that you just rip off. And here's the brand new 2021 Fire HD tablet. And right off the bat, I do kind of notice that subtle design change over the previous model. It's incredibly light, has that 10.1 inch all screen design. It has that same black plastic on the back that some people love, some people hate. But I'll get more into the tablet in just a minute. First, let's see what else you get in the box. Opening up one end of the sleeve, you have your 9-watt wall charger, and opening up the other end, you have your user manual, quick start guide, and your USB-C to USB-A cord. So very similar unboxing to all the previous Amazon Fire HD tablets. Now let's get into some of the differences and upgrades over the previous model. So like I said, you get a slightly trimmed down overall design over the 2019 model, and it weighs just a little bit less. This one comes in at 1.03 pounds, whereas the previous model was 1.11 pounds. You get that same 10.1 inch full HD IPS display, but with the trimmed down bezels, you're looking at a 72.1% screen to body ratio compared to 71% in the previous model. Still that same 16:10 aspect ratio with 224 pixels per inch. Amazon claims that the new model is now 10% brighter than their previous model, a difference that I really can't notice. However, if you're someone that uses this outside a lot, that may make a difference for you. For internals, we still have the same exact MediaTek Helio processor that was in the previous model. It's an octa-core processor, but the nice thing is that they did bump up the RAM to 3 gigs instead of the 2 gigs in the last model. This should help the operating system continue to run smoothly and allow apps to pick up where you left off more often, rather than having to restart every time you go back into it. You still have the hands-free Amazon Alexa voice assistants. They also bumped up the rear-facing camera to a 5 megapixel camera instead of the 2 megapixel camera that was on the previous model. It still shoots in 720p HD video. Also, the micro SD slot now supports up to 1 terabyte of expandable storage, whereas the previous model only supported 512 gigs. And this new model now supports a brand new Amazon Bluetooth keyboard attachment that you can either buy in a bundle or you can buy separately. So if you're the type of person that wants to do a lot of typing on your Fire HD 10, this is a very nice accessory. And lastly, this new model now supports Bluetooth 5.0, whereas the previous model supported Bluetooth 4.2. For inputs and buttons, not much has changed. You still have the 3.5mm headphone jack, the USB-C 2.0 port, microphones, power sleep button, volume rocker. You have the dual speakers on one side that does support Dolby Atmos, and then the micro SD slot on the other. Again, the only change being that the new micro SD slot can support up to 1 terabyte. For cameras, again, you have that 5 megapixel camera on the back, which is a slight upgrade, 2 megapixel camera on the front that is on the side, so when you're holding this in landscape mode, the camera is on top, which I personally love. Out of the box, this is running Fire OS version 7.3.1.9, and overall initial impressions from playing around with this for a few hours has been really positive. Everything seems to be running very smoothly, apps open up nice and quick, and I can really tell the difference between that 2 gigs and 3 gigs of RAM. The operating system seems to run just a little bit smoother, especially when you have a lot of apps open. It's much easier to pick up where you left off in apps when you're multitasking. Transitions seem just a little bit smoother than the previous model. It's definitely not groundbreaking performance increases, but the overall operation and moving around the tablet does seem just a little bit smoother than the previous model. The screen is still gorgeous, especially on a budget tablet. This is probably one of the better screens you're going to find. Again, they say it's 10% brighter. I don't notice a huge difference using this inside. When I brought it outside, it might be slightly easier to use this if you're in a shaded area. In the sunlight, it's still pretty difficult because of the reflective screen, but I have always loved the Amazon Fire HD screen. That full HD is really nice when you're watching content or browsing the web. Video looks great and text looks really crisp on this. And to me, the new design is noticeable. It just looks a tad more modern. Again, nothing that's groundbreaking, but it is nice to see that slimmer bezels, even though the bezels are still pretty thick in comparison to some other tablets out there. But I mean, this tablet is really lightweight, just a hair over a pound, really easy to carry around, slip into a purse or into a backpack or briefcase. Battery life they still quote at 12 hours, and I haven't used this long enough to tell you exactly how much battery life I'm getting, but I can tell you when I started this up, it was at 80%. I've been playing around with it for a couple hours now, getting this set up, installing updates, installing apps, and that sort of thing. And I'm at 66% a couple hours later. So I think you're still looking at some really great battery life. So initial impressions of the new 2021 Fire HD 10 is really positive. Again, like I said before, there's nothing groundbreakingly new here, but just subtle improvements to the design and to the internals have made this just a little bit more fun to play around with. Less laggy, less stuttery, and less freezing. It would have been nice to see an updated processor in this, but I think the added gig of RAM helps this operating system a lot, so I'm not too disappointed. But that's just my initial impressions. Again, just a couple hours of usage, so this is still pretty new, and I plan to come back and do an updated longer term review of this. So make sure you subscribe, come back for that. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get to all of them. And I appreciate everyone that watched to the end of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.